6, Judica Drote will tell us what led up to a teenage boy shooting a 12-year-old girl. And all-day kindergarten in Sioux Falls is a year old. Is it working for your kids? We'll tell you at 6. Plus, having a problem cuddling your favorite kitty? A new allergy treatment may be just what you're looking for. Join us tonight at 6.
Shop Montgomery's Furniture and Decorating.
Collided, the tanker ignited, shooting flames higher than the electric poles. You could see the smoke all the way from Sioux Falls. The gravel truck driver is more seriously injured, but both men suffer from burns. An air ambulance transported one of them to the hospital. On Campbell News at 6, we'll go live to the intersection, which has a dangerous past, and we'll try to find out what went wrong this time.
A 12-year-old Mitchell girl is in the hospital, and her alleged teenage shooter is in jail. Sources tell us that Chastity Walker was shot in the chest at her mother's apartment in Mitchell last night. Police won't confirm any names because they're juveniles, but say a 16-year-old boy from Omaha is in custody in connection with the shooting. The boy had been drinking at the time and claims to be from an Omaha gang.
Some kids from Omaha came down, and I guess they're in some type of gang or something like that, and he was waving a gun around, and next thing you know, my cousin went in the bedroom, and we heard a pop, and this kid came running outside, and she said that he shot her.
The girl is in stable condition in the Mitchell Hospital. The Omaha teen could be charged with attempted murder. The safety of all-terrain vehicles is being questioned again after 3 South Dakotans.
This is KSFY Channel 13 Sioux Falls. This is Eyewitness News.
Good evening. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Alex Strauss.
And I'm Doug Tobin. Thanks for joining us.
We are currently working on 3 big stories in our area. A fiery accident has sent 2 men to the hospital, and we'll tell you what caused this scorching smash-up in a live report.
And a construction worker is buried alive in Hartford. We'll tell you how this tragic accident happened.
But first, Mitchell police are holding a 16-year-old boy in custody for shooting a 12-year-old girl last night.
Since he's a juvenile, police are not releasing the name of the suspect. But the victim, 12-year-old Chastity Walker of Mitchell, remains in the intensive care unit at Queen of Peace Hospital. Now, Chastity's family says the boy is from Omaha and a gang member. Police are still trying to sort out what happened. The .22 caliber handgun used in the shooting has not yet been found. Now, Judica Drote talked with family members today and joins us now live in the newsroom. Judica, how's the family holding up?
Doug, it's been a long night for Chastity's family, and while the police spent the night searching for the suspect, Chastity's family spent the night by her side. In an interview with KSFY television, her mother said that she remains in the intensive care unit with a bullet lodged in her shoulder. Chastity's mother says she can still see the image of her daughter after the shooting.
I really didn't know what to say. It just scared me that I seen my daughter laying there with a bullet in her.
The suspect came to Mitchell with his cousin. They were at the girl's home visiting her mother's boyfriend, Jose Early. He says there were a lot of people in the apartment, but only the suspect and one other person were drinking.
He was sitting right here, and he had the gun on his lap, and it was just like petted, like it was some kind of pet.
Chastity was in this bedroom with a friend. She told her mother the suspect pointed the gun at her and said not to worry, it wasn't loaded.
He just kept clicking it at her and told her not to worry about it. He said, Chastity, don't worry about it. It won't go off. It's not loaded. And then it went off.
The suspect ran from the apartment across the street and between these 2 houses. He remained at large until late this morning when a tip from a citizen led to his arrest. Now, the good news is Chastity is in stable condition. She remains at a Mitchell hospital, and her mother hopes to have her home as early as this weekend.
Judica, what about the suspect?
Well, he could face attempted murder charges. He remains in custody in Mitchell.
Judica, the Mitchell Police Department would like to thank everyone who called in with tips that led to the suspect's arrest.
Also, tragedy today in Hartford. A cave-in has killed a construction worker. The victim was working in a 12-foot trench when the walls collapsed. Co-workers had to use shovels and 3 backhoes to find him. It took about an hour of digging and waiting before the victim's body was found. The private construction company was putting in a sewer system near Home Federal Savings on North Oak. His name is being withheld pending notification of his family.
One man is seriously burned and another injured after a collision between a gravel truck and a gasoline tanker near Lenox.
That accident happened at the intersection of Lincoln County Roads 116 and 111, 2 miles west of I-29. Christine Iverson joins us now live from the scene. Christine, it sounds like it was quite a dramatic accident.
It was. If you saw huge columns of black smoke rising into the sky this afternoon, this accident is the reason. Shortly after 1 o'clock this afternoon, a gravel truck ran through a stop sign and ran right into a gasoline tanker. The end result is an accident that sent flames shooting 30 feet into the air and smoke you could see as far away as Sioux Falls and Canton. Now, the gravel truck driver is 23-year-old Steve J. Olson of Harrisburg. He is seriously burned and was airlifted to the hospital. The tank truck driver is 43-year-old Roy James Deckert of Freeman. He was also taken to the hospital, but his injuries are not as serious. Now, they were the only two involved in the accident.
It was actually a big explosion, but, you know, you could see the smoke for miles. I was in Harrisburg when I got called to it, and I could see it.
Now, a lot of you may remember back to last fall, this is the same intersection where 44-year-old Scott Hunt was killed, and he was killed also because of a collision because the stop sign blew down here. So there also was another fatality here. So this is a dangerous intersection. This is not the first time they've had accidents here. Alex?
Christine, are there going to be charges filed?
Well, as we said before, the highway patrol officers say that the gravel truck driver did run the stop sign, and they tell us that charges are pending, but they're still investigating. They say it is possible that there may have been some kind of mechanical problem that prevented him from stopping. They also say, though, they don't think that alcohol or anything like that was involved. Alex?
All right, well, that's one good thing. Thanks, Christine. Christine Iverson reporting live from the scene of that accident.
But talking may be over between teachers and the school board in Aberdeen. Teachers wanted another meeting to discuss salary and extra duties for the 96-97 school year. The board's offer is for a 1% raise for all teachers, plus 3.1% for teachers who can move up a step on the salary schedule. The teachers agreed to the 1% raise, but want to preserve planning time. The board's offer would scratch it and make teachers spend more time supervising lunchrooms and playgrounds. Teachers say they'd rather keep the planning time than get the raise. And the controversy continues.
It was a controversial change for Sioux Falls parents last spring. Many of them did not like the switch from half-day to all-day kindergarten.
Now, with a year behind them, Laura Shane asked some parents if they think the new all-day kindergarten schedule is making the grade.
Catch these other animals and we'll catch...
Mrs. Wheelock's kindergartners took class to the Delbridge Museum, a fitting place for students who took on an adventure of their own. All day, every other day kindergarten with alternating Fridays.
Originally, I was against it.
Lori Chambers was concerned her daughter wouldn't get the continuity the half-day, everyday schedule provided. She also thought a whole day would get too long, but now she changed her mind.
The concerns that I had for my daughter really turned out to be unfounded.
Judy Summers says this field trip is a good example of a benefit of the all-day schedule.
I think it's a little slower pace for them so they can, instead of rushing through their activities in 2 hours, they can spend a little more time.
Most parents like Lori and Judy are adjusting to the change, but there are still some kinks to work out.
These moms say one of the biggest problems with all-day kindergarten was trying to figure out which students went to school on every other Friday. They didn't necessarily go every other Friday if there were conferences or a holiday. I think if they address that next year by making Wednesday the alternate day, I think that will help.
But they say despite that confusion, the new schedule is off to a good start.
I would give them at least an A- because I think the teachers have really put forth a lot of effort. I think that's part of the reason it's gone so smoothly.
Laura Shane, Eyewitness News, Sioux Falls.
And what do many other teachers think of the change? Well, the jury is still out on that, at least the teachers that we talked with. Some teachers say 1 year just isn't enough time to give an accurate report. And speaking of accuracy...
That's right. Phil was right on the money with today's forecast.
Turned out to be just wonderful. Not much humidity. Temperatures in the 70s for the most part. There are a few little showers out there, which we'll show you on the radar. And I think we'll have more than a few showers coming up the next few days. The forecast is next.
Closed captioning for Eyewitness News is brought to you by A&B Business Equipment.
If your life is full of demands, get the vehicle that meets them best. Safari from GMC. With the most towing and cargo capacity in its class, it's the only way to get your show on the road. Get the ultimate in family vans. Get a Safari. And now you'll find a great selection of Safaris. So stop by and take your pick. See your Great Plains GMC dealer today.
Carol Hillard on Balanced Budgets.
We've balanced our state budget every year, and now we need to balance our federal.
I had her from head to toe, checking her out, and it was just that the last time I came up when I seen that bullet shot, and there was blood about like down to the bottom of her bra.
And the suspect is still in custody in Mitchell awaiting formal charges. And unfortunately, that 16-year-old suspect in this case is not the only teen to have a serious run-in with the law.
We introduce you tonight to a couple troubled teens serving time in 2 of South Dakota's juvenile detention centers. Eyewitness News takes a special look at the juvenile correction system to see if it's helping our troubled teens. Here's Jill Cordes with our special series, Kids in Crime Doing Time.
He spent his last 4 birthdays locked up, and his latest crime, stealing a car and doing drugs, has landed him back at the juvenile detention center.
A 12-year-old girl in the chest. Tracy O'Halloran has the story on what happened before and after the shooting.
I just kept looking at her up and down, and that's when I noticed this gunshot up in her chest, and that blood was coming down, and I just totally lost it.
The mother of the 12-year-old girl, who wanted to remain anonymous, is still in shock today after her daughter was shot in the chest inside their Mitchell home. And the alleged gunman, a juvenile, is in custody. That much is certain, but the events that led up to the shooting are not. Apparently, the 16-year-old suspect came to Mitchell with a friend from Omaha. The friend introduced the subject to the shooting victim's family, and a group of them cooked out for dinner.
The report is that the suspect was drinking heavily, was drinking whiskey, and had been belligerent through the night and was armed through the evening.
He was talking all night long how he ain't afraid of nobody. He's in a gang, I guess, up in Omaha, Nebraska. Said that he's not afraid of nobody. He'll shoot anybody.
I was watching him earlier, probably 15, 20 minutes before it happened, and he was just sitting there rubbing the gun. Just sitting there, and he was just looking at everybody rubbing the gun, and then he put it back away in his pocket.
About 9:30 last night, police say the 12-year-old girl was shot once in the upper chest. The alleged suspect then fled the scene on foot and eluded police until this morning.
At 10 o'clock this morning, police received a call from a woman saying she saw the suspect walking in the 900 block of University Avenue. He was apprehended only seconds later here in the 400 block of McCabe Street, unarmed.
Authorities say the suspect has given them an idea of where the gun is located, but it has not yet been found. In Mitchell, Tracy O'Halloran, News 5.
The 16-year-old could face attempted murder and aggravated assault charges. No initial court appearance has been set. The victim, meantime, is in stable condition at Queen of Peace Hospital in Mitchell.